Hello, and welcome to today's episode on SMART goal setting. I'm going to take you through a goal that I haven't turned into a SMART goal yet, but has been in my heart of something that I've wanted to accomplish for a long time. If you haven't heard the acronym before, SMART goals, I'm going to take you through that now. The S is specific, M is measurable, A is attainable or achievable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time-bound. So let's take the goal of I want to become a photographer, which is one of my goals that I haven't yet turned into a SMART goal. So if I say I want to be really good at photography, let's start with the S. S was specific. So how can I make this goal specific? Okay, I want to learn portrait photography. How am I going to learn it? When am I going to learn it? What courses do I need to take in order to learn it? What supports do I need? Let's get a little more specific when we're thinking about our goal. So instead of just, I want to be really good at photography, let's narrow it down to what type of photography and the who, what, when, where, and why of how we're going to get to that result. The other part of a SMART goal, the specific, is the call to action. What is the step or steps that you need to take in order to make this happen? For me, with photography, do I need to register for a course? Do I need to call a friend who's a photographer and offer to help them with some of their sessions in order to learn from them? What is the actionable item that I can add to my goal to ensure that I'm successful? The next step in a SMART goal is that it needs to be measurable. That's the M. So we're in the second letter of the SMART goal. So how can I measure whether or not I'm going to be good at photography? More specifically, portrait photography. Can I enroll in a course that's 3 hours a week? Can I commit to asking 2 friends if they will be models for me for 1 hour at a time so that I can practice the skills that I'm learning in the classroom? What are the measurable steps that are going to ensure that my behavior changes, that my skill set improves? Maybe it's taking a course, maybe it's practice, maybe it's simply watching YouTube videos because you can learn a lot off of YouTube. So what measurable actions am I going to take? These are usually numerical. So 3 hours of studying, 2 hours of watching YouTube, asking 3 friends if they will pose for me, and doing that once a week, once a month. What are the measurable steps? Am I going to complete a 42-hour course? And is that portrait photography? So am I going to complete this 42-hour course? Is that what I can measure to see the difference from where I've started to my success? How am I going to get there? And what are my goals within that? What is the measurement? Do I want to be a portrait photographer because I want to make money? Is my goal that I have 1 client a month, 1 client a week? Or is it simply for pleasure? For me, photography has always been a passion of mine, but I haven't turned it into a SMART goal. So maybe this is going to also help me take that first step in that first course, narrowing it down and saying, I'm really interested in portrait photography and learning that skill as a step 1 for my SMART goal. The next step is achievable or attainable. And so a goal without a plan is just a dream, which has been me with photography. Here I am teaching you SMART goals and telling you one dream that I haven't turned into a goal yet. And so how can I turn that and make that achievable, turn it into reality? And is it achievable or attainable? Absolutely. Do I have 3 hours within my week, or can I carve out 3 hours to take a course on photography? 100% I can. Could I, if I didn't want to take a course, could I dedicate 1 hour a week to watching YouTube videos on portrait photography? 100% that I have that room in my life. So this goal for me is achievable. That's what we're asking when we get to this. What's the emotional piece? What would be required? And is it an achievable or attainable goal for you? Let's talk about what might not be achievable or attainable for me. Well, perhaps at this age and stage in my life, becoming a gold medalist at the Olympics might not be achievable. A, because I'm probably not that motivated, and I'm probably past the age limit, and the physical ability would be incredibly difficult for me to train at my age, and I'm probably past my prime, if we're being truthfully honest, for me to obtain a gold medal in the Olympics, because that would be a lot of hard work and dedication, and I'm not sure how many people my age are winning gold medals in, well, any sport really. So when we think about achievable or attainable, we want to really ask ourselves, do we have the motivation to really achieve this dream or goal? And what emotional, physical, intellectual capacity do we have and supports do we have around us in order for us to achieve this goal? So that's it for the achievable or attainable portion of SMART goals. And that nicely moves us into whether or not our goals are realistic. As I mentioned under the achievable or attainable, for me to achieve an Olympic gold medal, it's probably not very realistic for me at this time for a number of reasons. The sheer amount of effort that I would have to put into that really doesn't align with a lot of the other goals in my life. But photography, that dream that I've had, that is certainly a passion that I believe is realistic. We've already talked about the time requirements that it would take for me to slowly learn portrait photography. I believe I have the time, access to the resources, and intellect to follow either curriculum within a course or YouTube videos, or shadow some friends or other professional photographers that might be able to teach me. So is that goal realistic? Absolutely. Does it align with my passion and belief? Maybe I need to dig in a little more because it has been a dream for a long time for me. The time-bound thing is so important because procrastination happens. And as you can see in my example, photography has been a passion of mine for a really long time. And I've procrastinated on it. So how can I set those time limits around it and schedule some actionable items in order to get me there? Now that we've talked about SMART goals, let's talk about S.M.A.R.T-ER goals. That's right, I'm going to add 2 more letters onto the end of this, E and R. Let's talk about E. E stands for enthusiastic. So where is that energy or enthusiasm going to come from? Digging deep into why we want this goal, why it's so important to us, so we can enthusiastically think about it and drive ourselves towards those deadlines and timelines that we've set for ourselves. So I love S.M.A.R.T-ER goals for that reason. I love that enthusiastic piece that we can add in there where we just sit and think about, why is this goal so important to me? Really breathe it in and think about what life is going to be like when you achieve your goal. So what's life going to be like for me if I improve my photography skills? And the first thing that comes to mind is that I'm going to have more professional images to share on my social media for my businesses. And I really think that's important, which maybe I need to rethink whether portrait photography is actually my S.M.A.R.T.ER goal, or if there's another type of photography and how I can achieve that that's going to align with my goals. And the last one for S.M.A.R.T.ER goals is another R, but this R is about reward. So what is the reward when we reach our goals? Because a great goal and a big long-term goal, or one of those dreams that's really important to us, is also really important to recognize and reward ourselves when we get there, because that's going to drive us to repeat and do S.M.A.R.T.ER goals. Because once you gain that confidence and see that you're able to achieve this giant goal that you had for yourself, I guarantee you're going to want to set more. So let's change those SMART goals into S.M.A.R.T.ER goals with some enthusiasm and rewards, because that's part of life, isn't it? Just making things a little bit more fun. Those are the 2 things that I'd love to add to your SMART goals to make them just a little bit smarter. Now I want you to practice it on your own. I want you to think about a goal and go through those smarter steps and write down each step. I'm going to provide some information for you on the screen. So if you want to stop it here, it's going to provide you with all the information that you need to help write out those S.M.A.R.T.ER goals. Now, let's talk about effort. I firmly believe that regardless of where your start line is, what skills you show up with, what previous experience you have or don't have, that effort equals success. That effort will outperform any intellectual, physical superiority, as you may deem it, that somebody else might have. I believe that effort is going to take you to where you want to go. Taking full responsibility for achieving your goals and putting in the effort to get there, regardless of what your story is, whether you have an intellectual challenge or somebody has diagnosed you and given you a label, I don't believe that anything will stand in your way when you, number one, believe in yourself and believe that you are capable of doing it, and two, you put the effort in those actionable steps to get to your goal. I have seen so many people overcome incredible obstacles because they were willing to put in the required work to get them to their goal. I've also seen people who are naturally gifted in a certain area not achieve their goals. They took for granted that they were already good at something and they didn't put enough or any effort in to achieve the goal that they wanted to achieve. 100% effort, that firm belief that you can do it, and taking those action items are going to propel you towards your goal. Speaking of efforts and goals and organization and getting yourself ready to get started on your journey, there are also physical and mental preparation and organization that needs to occur. The physical preparation might be the tools that you need to get started. So when I was talking about the photography course that I wanted to take, perhaps I need my laptop to log in to either watch those YouTube videos or attend the course. Or if I'm taking a course in person, then do I have the resources and ability to get myself to the physical location where the learning will occur? Do I need pen, paper? I'm going to need a camera, probably a specific type. Where can I start? Or maybe it's just my iPhone. Maybe I want to learn great photography skills and I want to do it anywhere and on the fly. And maybe my goal is to really optimize the camera functions on my iPhone. So that's the physical piece. So when you're thinking about your goal and you're thinking about organizing and getting started, what are the physical components that you need in order to be successful? And then the other piece is that mental capacity. Where is your mindset? Where is your belief? What do you already know about this subject? What can you review? Where are you at in your mindset about it? And what capacities do you already have? So those are two pieces of the organizational puzzle that's going to lead you to setting your goals. When I'm talking about effort, I'm also talking about taking personal responsibility for your successes and your failures. Regardless of what happens, taking that personal responsibility and saying, what did I do or didn't do to help me get towards my goals? The next thing to think about is to be positive. So we can really get caught up in this victim mindset. Oh, woe is me. My life is harder because that person could do it because they don't have kids and I have kids. And so I don't have any time. Like I said earlier, wherever your start line is, it doesn't matter where anyone else's start line is. It's the effort that you're going to put forward. It's that positive thinking that you can do it and overcoming the obstacles to get you there. Because the truth is, we all have obstacles. But if we can think positively about the direction that we're going in and start to reframe any of those negative or victim mindsets, that's going to really help us achieve our goal. The other part that I want you to think about is to accept the fact that you can't control everything. There are going to be circumstances and things that happen in your life that are completely out of your control and that might for a moment or two derail you from your dream and goal. And that's perfectly normal. It's part of every success story to long-term goal that's really hard to achieve. Things are going to get in your way. And this is when you need that huge why, that huge belief that we've talked about before to keep pushing you past those obstacles. So there are going to be things that you can't control. Life is going to throw you lots of curveballs. That's why it's really important to be positive, to take responsibility regardless of what happens, and to not let one or two setbacks, whether big or small, stop you from continuing to move forward. So what? You started a course, you dropped it a year or two ago. You're a year or two now different than you were before. So it's okay. Just pick back up where you started, go back and refresh if you had to, and keep propelling forward. The other thing to note is that you're not on a steady climb towards your goal. You're on probably a messy roller coaster ride to get there with a lot of missteps. And I think that social media really doesn't help in this because we'll often, if we're doing that comparative thing, look at other people's lives and think like it looks so easy for them. And if you think of an iceberg, that tip of the iceberg that's out of the water, that's the part that you're seeing of someone else's goal, and you're not seeing all the other stuff that's under the water that they have done to achieve that goal. So you are not alone in your missteps. You are not alone in what might feel like 10 steps backwards or falling down and dusting yourself up and getting back up again. This is a normal part of the process. And so embrace it, laugh about it. You are a human. We are doing the best we can, and just be in that moment and know that mistakes happen, missteps happen, and that this is also part of the journey to achieve your goal. So when that misstep happens, instead of thinking, oh, goodness me, I can't do this, I'm not successful, remember that we're going to turn this around and think positively and get really excited that you have stumbled, one more stumble towards greatness, towards achieving your goal. Because when you can reframe it and think of it that way, and when you know that the journey is not a straight line from A to B, that it is a messy, circular, back and forth, all over the place line to get you to that end goal, then we can laugh about it, we can relax about it, and sometimes it's easier for us to stand back up and keep going.